Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back. I know we have been eagerly waiting to discuss with our scholars and our experts on the panel, of course, and yourselves about this particular sticky point. Why can't we do Eid on one day? Well, I think we're getting somewhere. We've established so far, due to the nature of the moon and the cycle of the moon cannot be visible from one particular point on every month, and it cannot therefore become the point of sighting. Like, for example, for time we have Greenwich Mean Time, on which time is determined. At a particular point people could determine the time and of course calculate the time for the rest of the world. You can't do that with moon. However, we've also established from the discussion from our brother Qamar Uddin, who is an expert on this topic, that Malaysia has advanced its technology and research so much so that they are now able to tell us quite accurately when exactly moon will be visible in our own local horizon. But there is a person or a group of people who haven't agreed on this yet, and that's our scholars. And to represent them and to take the brunt of my wrath tonight, we have Sulyaman Gani. Sulyaman Gani, why can you not agree on this? Scientists can tell you exactly what date you can see the moon in your own horizon.
MashaAllah, I think before we answer, quickly just to draw a distinction between new moon and Hilal. There's a very big distinction.
Please
we can know for sure exactly when is Waqtul Iqtiran, when is conjunction time, every month to the second. And every month we can know where the sun set first or moon set. So therefore, in any given location, any part of the world, for example, like also in Saudi Arabia, what happened for Eidul Fitr, King Abdul Aziz City of Technology, even there in their own data, they said moon set before sunset 6 minutes, it was not on the horizon. So therefore, the question that we are asking, that Allah Ta'ala is saying in the Quran, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْأَهِلَّةِ, they are asking you about the crescent, the Hilal, Ahilla plural of Hilal. And that is what we are looking for. So there is a, I think, maybe people are...
So what's the difference between, in fact, you know, from what we heard from the Qamar Uddin and yourself, the new moon is the visibility, the new moon and its birth is very clear.
Yes.
The visibility of the crescent is where we are discussing. But what's the difference? The crescent will not be visible if the moon wasn't there.
Exactly. And that is where, when we are looking for the crescent, I mean, astronomers have explained, and this, I mean, as a member of Islamic Crescent Observation Project, icoproject.org, over 12-15 years of the data they have, they said never have ever they have sighted a crescent which is less than 12 hours. If they have, it was with optical aid. And now, for example...
So what's wrong with sighting the crescent with optical aid?
Yeah, what it means is that people have sighted the Hilal before they've even born. People have sighted the Hilal. It's not even on the horizon. And that is why we are using this astronomy.
So the baseline you're saying is it must be visible in the horizon.
It must be on the horizon.
So that's a universally accepted principle amongst all schools of thought.
But
hold on, all schools of thought that the moon must be visible, the crescent of the moon must be visible at a local destination in the horizon for you to start your Ramadan and to end your Ramadan. Is that right?
That is right, but still it is not guaranteed that you will sight the Hilal even though it's on the horizon.
No, I understand. So if, for example, according to Brother Qamar Uddin, we have scientific technology to tell us exactly at what point, what second, you may be able to see. Not being able to see due to weather conditions, cloudy and like it is always in Britain. That's not what I'm talking about. The possibility of it is there and it's in your horizon, you couldn't see it. If we know that data, why can you not agree with that?
Yes, so now we are using this principle is لا يقبل الحساب القطعي. We will not accept the astronomical calculation data to establish the beginning of the months. We will only use it to negate the false sightings. إلا لرد الشهادة الظنية لا لتثبيت الهلال. So that is why
this is not a hadith.
This is Imam Subki.
No. It's not a hadith, because when you quote it in Arabic, some people may think it's the Quran or the Arabic, or the hadith. It's a statement of a scholar.
Yes,
okay?
Yes.
There are other scholars who disagree with him.
Yes.
So let's not use his statement as an absolute yardstick. What does Rasulullah say? He said, and you said this before, and I'm trying to understand this, Brother Qamar Uddin, please tell me if I'm getting it wrong, and I'm quoting both of you, that Rasulullah said you should have it sighted locally, beginning and the end.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
He's saying you can do that. I can tell you exact time and the moment. It's not your fault that you couldn't see it. Why do we still have a debate?
Now, what we are trying to establish, the hadith says, Sumu li ru'yatihi. You can only start your month by the actual sighting of the hilal. So we cannot...
So, an example. Yes. There was overcast in one whole continent. Global warming is happening, anything is possible. In a particular continent, the whole continent, whole of Europe, one night was completely dark because of the weather condition. Nobody in the whole of Europe was able to see with their eye the crescent. Are you telling me they should not fast?
That's what the hadith ends by saying, فَإِنْ أُغْمِيَ عَلَيْكُمْ. When it becomes cloudy, then you complete your 30 days. So therefore, 29 or 30 days. And in actual fact, there is a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hadith in Bukhari and Muslim, muttafaqun alayh, that we are an ummah which is unlettered. Inna ummatun ummiya la naktubu wa la nahsubu. We do not read, we do not calculate. And even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this hadith explained that the month is either shahru hakaza.
Sulyaman Gani, that is completely in contrast.
So I want to explain this hadith. The hadith.
You can't just make that hadith.
No, it is a hadith.
You can't just quote it.
Yeah, I'm using the hadith and explaining, but even the contemporary scholars like Shaykh Abdullah Al-Munay of Saudi Arabia, I have his article right here.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean,
he's explaining himself. And what the Shaykh says, that بأن أمة أمية هو تقرير بواقع المسلمين في عصره ورخصة لدى العلماء تزول بالزوال موجبها ومقتضاها. So we are using the hadith, and the Ummah has all this astronomical data, which is only using that which is accurate.
No,
so there are two types of calculations.
No. He's not. This is not what he's saying. What you are saying is interesting, because I want to pick on this. What he's saying is, Rasulullah has said, attributed a hadith to him, that we're an Ummah of illiteracy and ignorance. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that, because Allah in the Quran says that very clearly. He has taught us the knowledge, adad al-sinina wal-hisab, the knowledge of calculation, mathematics. The whole Muslim world was leading the discussion and debate on astronomy, not necessarily astrology. To abdicate a responsibility of embracing science and technology because of this hadith, I find that absolutely staggering.
Yeah, that's why we're saying there's total harmony between science and Quran. It does not contradict each another. At-Tawafuq, even Shaykh Afifi has written his book. So I'm saying we are using this hadith to use the data which is accurate.
No, you're negating it. You're not using it positively.
وَتَقْرِيرٌ بِوَاقِعِ الْمُسْلِمِ. Now the Ummah, like how the Ummah knows how to read, the Ummah also in this age knows how to calculate accurately, but not everything in the astronomical data is accurate.
But like more accurate than those who may be citing it in Saudi Arabia because of an incentive such as a prize. Let me take a call. Hello, assalamu alaikum, caller. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum assalam. Who's calling? Alaikum assalam. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm calling from Oldham.
Okay, what would you like to say?
Yeah, I just want to find out, do you, like as a public, in real life, do you have to see, from the country itself, with our own eyes, one of the members?
Okay, thank you very much.
One of the members to see own eyes, the moon itself.
Okay.
Or
I've got the gist of your question. The line is very poor, and that's why I'm going to rush you. I'm so sorry. Right. Something is wrong with our line tonight, but I've got your question. Thank you, my brother. Assalamu alaikum. A brother from Oldham is saying, do we have to see the moon or the crescent of the moon by our own eyes, all of us? Well, the answer was given already, and that is no, it's not everyone. If a reliable person or persons have seen it and witnessed it, and their declaration is reliable enough, it's sufficient for us to take as a starting point. I find this, I find this so backward.
I think this hadith was stated at a times when early days of Islam.
But even at the early days of Islam, Rasulullah himself was ummi. Allah kept him like this, so that other knowledge and other people will not teach him. Allah will teach him directly. So Rasulullah is a particularly exception. The Muslim ummah wasn't ummi at the time of Rasulullah.
Well, if we come back to the Quran,
yes.
And Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Ar-Rahman, Ash-Shamsu wal-Qamaru bis-Husban,
yes.
that the sun and the moon follow courses exactly computed. And Surah Yunus, La-Shamsu yammaghi laha an tudrika al-Qamara wal-laylu sabiqun nahari fi falaki yasbahun. Right? The sun and the moon, they orbit according to the exact, it is determined. It is not in a haphazard fashion, indeterminate. And therefore, science can predict very, very accurately the path they are going. Now, from the messages of the Quran, the early Muslim scientists, they have established mathematics. For example, inventing zero, it was not there, without which we would not have modern computers.
Correct.
And all the names of the stars in the sky, they're after Muslim scientists. Yeah. And they've been Latinized before they've been translated, so you can't easily recognize. And it was done because the Quran has inspired them,
yes,
inspired them that we cannot do our prayers without knowing the position of the sun.
You mentioned something very interesting.
And so is the moon. Yes.
Sulyaman Gani, good question. In your mosque, all your prayer timetables, you don't go out to measure the darker shade of the thread from the white one, do you? No. You don't go out and with a stick to see if the shade has doubled for prayers. You rely on the astronomical knowledge that you get from the scientists.
Yes.
And yet, why can you not do the same with beginning and ending of Ramadan?
Yes, because of this, the hadith, that is why...
But the hadith doesn't
the hadith says you have to start your month by the sighting of the Hilal, and we are using this data to negate the false sighting. So we are making harmony between the two.
This is your interpretation of the hadith. The hadith keeps open the possibility of us relying on the scientific information that moon is available in your horizon, go and look for it. When did we do Eid this year?
We did...
This Eidul Fitr.
Wednesday.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay. Some people said on Tuesday Eid was supposed to be. Some declared. And some did it on Wednesday. In fact, science determined it was impossible for us to have seen the crescent in Britain on Tuesday. For those of us who did Eid on Tuesday, we did it wrong. I mean, I'm one of those. I did it wrong. But I did it wrong because my local mosque had announced, and I have to go by my local mosque. That's where I pray. That's where I am connected. But those of us who did it on Wednesday did it right. Who was right? The science was right. And yet we don't use this science more often.
I wouldn't agree with that, because even there are those who done it on Thursday. Why did it on Thursday? Because even though there are times Hilal can be on the horizon, but if you cannot see it, then you will have to complete it. So what it means, that even though Hilal can be on the horizon, there's still no guarantee that you may sight it. And that is why you have so many hadiths. فَقُدُرُوا You calculate it, or you complete your 30 days.
This is based on...
It's based on the hadith.
No, this is based on a community. Every hadith has a illah, purpose.
Yes.
Has the reasons behind. We cannot just get away just by quoting a hadith without understanding the context. The context of this hadith, or this hadith, is that there was a community of people, Muslims, who were not scientifically knowledgeable, who did not have the advanced information system, technology that we have today available. However, the only thing they had at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ was Rasulullah ﷺ himself, an intervention of wahi. For us to use those hadith that describe a particular socio-economic condition of a people and transplant it to our condition, I think it's unfair and it doesn't fit. I'll take a call. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Brother
Who's calling and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London, brother.
Okay, and who's calling?
My name is Ayub Rashid.
Okay, what would you like to say?
I would like to say, based on your question, first of all, I would like to thank you for this beautiful program. And I think people like you will make many people, inshallah, to wake up and ask proper questions the way you asked these two scholars.
Thank you.
Now, one thing I would like to say, based on your question, is it possible for us to have one Eid? I think the answer is no.
Okay.
Not no because it won't come that way, but I think first of all, based on the hadith from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said clearly that you need to fast based on sighting the moon, and similarly celebrate Eid on the same basis.
Okay.
So based on this, according to your questions there, it will be difficult for all of us to sight the moon on one particular day.
Okay.
I'm very pretty sure that many people know that there is maybe, I don't want to say something which is wrong, maybe there is a political agenda.
Okay.
Why all the time, all the year, if Saudi announced that tomorrow is Eid, we follow. We forget about scientific approaches and so on and so forth. And even we forget about this hadith. And the issue here is we need to ask these questions. We shouldn't have fear of asking scientific approaches based on the sighting of the moon.
Can I ask
but
you a
at
question?
the same time, we should
follow the sunnah of the Holy Prophet.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Okay. The sunnah of Rasulullah, as quoted by yourself and by our Shaykh here, Sulyaman Gani, that we should begin our Ramadan and end our Ramadan based on the sighting of the moon or the crescent. Now, it is assuming at the time of Rasulullah, the only means of knowing when the moon would be in the horizon would be through sighting.
Yes.
But in today's world, since science can tell us when it will be visible, such as, for example, for this Eid, it did say it will be possible only for you to do Eid on Wednesday because the crescent will be available at certain time, at certain date. I don't see that hadith negating this process.
Not at all. Not at all. What I'm trying to say here is that it will be difficult for us to have one particular day for all of us to call it Eid.
No, for England, for Britain, for Britain we certainly can.
Yeah.
I know universally, globally we can't, I understand that. But why have Eid on 3 different dates in UK alone?
Oh, very, very beautiful question actually. Here the issue is the issue of understanding the hadith and the understanding the application of the hadith and how can we approach scientific views concerning the sighting of the moon. So the issue is understanding the hadith. So that understanding, we can't come all of us to one kind of understanding. And this actually, if you go back to the time of Sahaba, you will see that there was a time people of Medina were celebrating Eid, while the people of Sham were not celebrating Eid.
Okay.
So this again, if we want to apply Sunnah here, it will be based on our understanding. And,
okay. And it is possible for the Ummah of Rasulullah living in the UK to come to some sort of consensus, a collective consensus on which we then say British community, the Muslim community living in UK would celebrate Eid on a particular day determined by a particular process. And that process could be that the science says this is the day when it will be visible in your horizon, and therefore go and see it if you wish. If you can't see it because of the cloud condition, go ahead and do it anyway.
That could happen. Based on the issue of ijtihad, I think it could happen. But look, for example, the 2 TV channels which we have. The one which you are representing here and the Islam channel, which we have total different views.
Yes.
And you have viewers who actually would go with your opinion and others who would go with Islam channel views. So based on their understanding, again, I think, I don't want to say...
I think you're right. We have to work together to create a better understanding, perhaps a clearer one.
Exactly.
Let me let you go, but thank you very much for the call. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to understand how we can resolve this problem. How can we, once and for all, perhaps create that unified, generic, bottom line understanding, one understanding for Britain alone, for one issue, and that is beginning of Ramadan, ending of Ramadan, and the declaration of Eid for all of us on the same day. So don't go too far away. Assalamu alaikum.